All right, welcome back, guys. So we have another vehicle, another Tesla in the shop, guys. You guys can see that Sienna is working on a Tesla Model X. So this car is in the shop for a full front PPF, full ceramic coating, as well as what us, all the tinters hate in the industry, full tint, including this monstrous 60-inch roll needed or required windshield. So we have Sienna. She's pretty much wrapped up with this front hood. Sienna, did you have any comments regarding this Model X compared to the many Model Ys we've worked on?
Usually the other cities of Tesla, they have a small front hood.
Okay.
But this one is way wider than the others.
Yeah, so the hood is massive, yeah, so it is pretty wide.
Right, usually the full road size is 60 by 50, right? But we have to do the other side, which is the horizon.
All right, folks, we have Sienna pretty much making a few cuts here. We're gonna be wrapping up this hood very shortly and moving on to the rest of the vehicle. The customer actually opted to have a few different items, including the tint and the PPF. They also got ceramic coating all around the vehicle. They also wanted this emblem vinyl wrapped in a gloss black vinyl. And then, for all you wrappers, let me go ahead and show you the other side. This back piece, which looks like quite a bit of a challenge. So we're gonna go ahead and tackle those items and then let you guys know how it goes. So since this is already in the shop, let's go ahead and talk about this Model X and all the services and what we charge for this customer. So for this Model X, guys, for the full front PPF package, we charge $2,200. And this film is STEK DYNOshade. It's a very glossy film. We personally like it because it does not have orange peel texture that some other film manufacturers do have. And for us, it works really well. It has a 10-year warranty. As a shop, we can stand behind that and be confident in our installs. Moving right along for the ceramic coating on the vehicle. Because it's a brand new car, guys, there's not a huge amount of paint correction to be done. We are charging $1,000 on top of the vehicle to coat the film as well as the rest of the vehicle. All right, guys, now for my business, this is kind of where I screwed up on the pricing. So apparently, this is the hardest windshield to tint in the industry. So for this windshield, typically other shops actually charge $1,000 just for the windshield. We only charge $675, so that alone I think was a very big mistake. And then for the rest of the vehicle, you guys can see it has pretty much the same amount of windows as a Tesla Model Y, a little bit bigger on the rear hatch, but we charged $895 for the rest of the vehicle. So all in all, apparently other shops are charging $2,000 for the full vehicle, including windshield. So I think we were, again, on the low end of the spectrum, but this, again, for us guys, is a learning game. This is the first Tesla Model X that we're doing tint on. So you learn with each one, I guess. The customer also opted to go with STEK DYNOshade on these headlights, guys, as well as the fog lights and the tail lights as well. For that service, guys, we charge $675 for the front and rear. All right, interesting note that Sienna wanted to point out for you installers. The Model X has an insanely easy hood in terms of the corners to access. Compared to, if you guys have installed Model Ys, it's a lot harder. And if you guys have installed Porsches, that is probably the hardest that I can think of, right? All right, folks, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this front hood, and let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the vehicle. All right, guys, so moving right along, we have Sienna moving over to the side mirrors. And we have a couple of tricks that Sienna has learned over the past several Teslas that she's done. So we're gonna be kind of pointing those out here. So a lot of times guys go from the inside edge and then they pull the other way. Sienna has actually recently been doing it the opposite way. So this technique kind of works for Sienna, but you guys can see she went ahead and anchored that front corner. She anchored the other corner that is towards her chest right now. And using all that leverage to get the stretch how she wants. There you go, guys. One shot, not messing around too much with the film, and you can see that all the wrinkles are gone, and you just squeegee as needed. All right, so you guys can see that Sienna just squeegees out the remaining water and moisture, but this is pretty quick. You could do side mirrors. I think she could do one in like maybe about 15 minutes. All right, one thing we also did want to mention is a lot of guys, when they do these side mirrors, they go ahead and cut it immediately. A lot of times we like to wait for the next day, guys. And part of this we learned from another installer that's been doing this for over 15 years. And that installer kind of mentioned that you just want to let the film relax, sit in there and let it cure just a tad bit. Because once those edges are wet and moisture gets right in, it will lift right up and finger. So unfortunately, that's something that if you want to avoid and not waste film, which is the name of the game, that's something that you want to keep in mind. All right, welcome back, guys. So we are getting started on the fenders now, and we went ahead and pulled out some of the trim. It actually falls out really easily, just like the Model Y, except for the front part, guys. If you guys look, there's actually a little bit of a different clip. So this actually, you just have to kind of go from behind and just push it, and it pops right out. I didn't take it out all the way because Sienna doesn't feel like it's quite necessary to go all the way. There is a little bit of hardware down there, guys, like a 10mm hardware that you're gonna have to remove. But let's just go ahead and go with this because this is pretty much all she needs to do. So Sienna has perfected a technique on installing fenders on these Teslas without actually having to resort to taking off these cameras. And these cameras can be problematic, guys. We've worked on a ton of Model Ys. We've actually broken about 3 of these in the past. So we just want to be really extra cautious because these are not cheap. These are pretty expensive from Tesla. They're about $350 a piece. So, you know, for your customers that you're taking PPF jobs on, you just don't want to make unnecessary stuff if you don't have to.
Okay.
All right, guys, as we have mentioned before, we always like to plot out our PPF before the customers arrive. This really helps our workflow to be as extremely efficient and quick as possible because look we're in a garage here. So for us to make money, we need to turn out these cars and collect payment to make money. All right, guys, so you guys can see that Sienna is laying down this piece. She's using gel a lot these days, and I think we explained in our previous video on her reasons for using gel. But one other thing that you guys can see is she's actually taking care of this camera without taking off the camera. And the reason why Sienna does this, guys, is because this is actually where the most amount of tension is. When you guys do a bulk installation on a Tesla, usually you tack it all here, tack it all here, tack it all here, and use steam or hot water to kind of lay it down into that recess. However, when you have a camera in the way, you have a lot more issues on doing that. So you're not able to get into the recess quite so easily as if you were if the camera was not there. So in this type of scenario, she's feeding all the tension. You guys can see that the camera has tacked down and she is now stretching it out to the ends. Now, once you have it down to the front corner, guys, you can see that Sienna is working all the moisture downwards along with the flow of gravity. All right, so make sure when you guys are doing these fenders, you have plenty of stretch. You guys can see that Sienna does not have any fingers popping up over here, and that is very crucial. If you guys have fingers all along here, all along here, all along here, you're gonna wanna stretch outwards that way, as well as make sure the film is stretched that way to make sure that is resolved. And welcome back, guys. So we are all wrapped up with this Model X, and we just wanted to share kind of what we did. I'm sorry I didn't get to cover the tint installation. It just was a really, really long process. It, I think, took about 3 hours just for this windshield And for the rest of the car, it took another probably an hour and a half. So 4.5 hours just to install tint on this vehicle. We can, however, cover what we did for this vehicle. As we said, we did the STEK DYNOshade full front PPF package, which covers the hood, the front bumper, the fenders, the side mirrors on this vehicle. The customer also opted to go with ceramic coating on the entire vehicle, including the PPF, the rest of the parts that are also not PPF'd. So they went ahead and coated the entire vehicle. One thing we also opted to do is go with the light protection film, guys. This light protection film, it has a slight shade to it. It is called the STEK DYNOshade, and it is the lightest one that they offer. It is also a PPF material, very similar to the PPF that's on the rest of the vehicle. And it's actually designed to help protect it from the lens fogging up and also getting a lot of those rock chips and pits from the freeways. So we have it on this headlight, as well as this side. And then we also have the fog lights as well down here, guys. And if you guys notice, on the Model X, it usually has a chrome T emblem on the front. You guys can see that we vinyl wrapped it gloss black. Same thing for the rear Tesla lettering. You guys can see that we went ahead and changed it to all gloss black. But overall, you guys can see that this customer went ahead and got pretty much the full package on their vehicle, on their brand new vehicle. So let's go ahead and tally up all the vehicles that came in the last 3 days, which was a Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model Y, and now this Tesla Model X that we just completed with pretty much all very similar types of services. I would say the only one that we had a real challenge on was this windshield, guys. You guys can see just how massive this windshield is. It is 60-inch across and then 62 inches high up to this line right here, guys. And that's actually one piece. So you could imagine when you guys are rolling back the film from this side to this side, you have a bit of a problem. If you put like a crease or something like that, or you bend the film, you're gonna damage it, and it is a huge piece of film. And you have to have specialty 60-inch rolls to do this. So not many shops are willing to do this job because they just don't want to make the investment onto those rolls. But we try our best here, guys. We're just a small husband and wife team here in a home garage, very humble, but we try to put out good work like this, you know, try to make sure that the edges are clean. You have no lifting fingers or anything like that on this side. But yeah, guys, this is in a nutshell kind of what we do day in, day out. So yeah, what do you guys think? In the last 3 days, you know, we made a decent amount of money. What do you guys think about making that type of money in your home garage? You think that's something that you can do? Yeah, feel free to comment down below. I would love to hear your responses. But as always, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. This was another Tesla that was protected by Rap Stars here, the team with Sienna and Eddie. We're gonna go ahead and sign off here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video.